Good. Oh, can we do a quick icebreaker? Just because I'm in a fun mood tonight. Anyway, just post in the chat. What's the highlight? What was the highlight of your weekend? I want to know. Did I do this
Who's first?
Just post it in.
Oh,
What do you think of it in the chat? Clay trekked in the rain to go through my friend's closet for free clothes, free stuff. That's always a worthy cause to do things. Happy hour on Friday. Oh yeah, people in New York City. Krisha is coming to New York on Friday. If you guys want to join her, I'm away, unfortunately. Sad to be missing it. Zulai attended a Friends magazine issue launch party. Very cool. Aminat long weekend for struggling for highlight. Probably a lot. Too much to pick from. You saw your nephew too. Same. Okay, hi Tim. Glad you can join us. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can get started. So agenda for today, we're gonna go through stand up. And then I know I was like talking to a couple of you, this past week, and there were like common struggles that I saw. So just like a few topics that I wanted to go over. So those include like how to grab style from Figma, and Clay volunteered to talk about object destructuring. So excited for that. And then I'm just going to talk briefly about like how to configure storybook stories and just how to ensure changes on PRs are intentional. And then lastly, we'll just talk briefly about like demo day expectations since that is next Thursday. Okay, so let me just share my screen real quick to pull up the board. And can you guys see my screen?
mm-hmm.
Cool. Um, All right. So in no particular order, let's go with Clay, since I see your ticket first. And if you need to take over a screen share to demo anything, let me know. I can stop sharing.
Just figured out something which feels amazing. I know it's like the tiniest thing ever, but I went on a walk before this and I was like, oh my God, figured it out. Okay. So I can share my screen and walk through the progress on my component. I also have questions that maybe some of y'all can help me with. But yeah, first, big shout out to An for helping me figure out a lot of things about this component. And also just like general workflow things, like how to like making a to-do list and then slowly turning that into code. Okay, I feel like the main progress was really assigning the colors, the semantics to what we called like severity now for each of the different options. And mapping that really helped me figure out, okay, this is how I should do it for the subtle versions as well. And then having it reflected in the component like accurately was really great to see happen. So now we have it divided, like the controls are by severity and then by this Boolean called isSubtle, which changes the styling of the background color. And then these are also reflected as well in the changes for the when it's not subtle. And we have the default set to success for now. I think the question I have is for the Figma styling. It's a little bit different, and I'm not sure if it's truly because I don't have the styling correct, or if it's just like Figma just shows it differently or something like that, because the font weight to me looks a lot thicker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I can explain that.
Mhm.
And like, no, I think you're right. As long as you apply like the font weight that you see on
Mhm.
Figma, And it's like if you inspect the element on Storybook and it says 600, like you should be good. The limitation with font weight is when I was configuring the font, I only basically have like the default version of Montserrat, the font
Okay.
install. So it's still on the to-do to install other like font weights. So right now, if you have like a very high level weight, it's
Mhm.
it's just gonna barely look like bolder. So
Okay.
it's not one-to-one with the mock. So yeah, just so everyone else is aware too. It's not you. It's the font.
Okay. No worries. I was just like, oh, my eyes. I mean, maybe also because I'm used to being a designer. I'm just like, this doesn't feel right, but it's okay.
If
Okay.
you go into computed and like scroll all the way down in DevTools, I think it will basically tell you
Uh-huh.
that information in browser DevTools that it's using the wrong font.
Also, I
Wait.
guess if you go to Storybook and open the Dev console,
Yeah,
oh,
which you have open already. If you just switch from styles to computed,
Uh-huh.
compute.
yeah, if
Oh,
it's
yeah, you're talking about
yeah,
down
over
here.
there. And I think if you scroll all the way down, there's like a
Mhm.
typography rendered font section that sort of tells you well, it's a little bit confusing. I think it's hinting that it's using the bold version and not the 600 version, which would be different.
Oh, and it's not even using the font um
Oh, okay.
family.
That might be
Is it?
important information too.
Oh,
Nudo?
interesting.
Oh, maybe that's why it looks a little different. Although it looks pretty similar to me. Ah, okay.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
maybe that's something for
don't
later.
worry about that for now.
Okay. Well, I got the styling as close as I could to the Figma. Um and yeah, and then I think it was really great to be able to or at least understand more conceptually like how wait, why is this so big? What happened? Yeah, the logic for like, for example, when in the warning version of the component, like the font color stays the same, whether or not it's subtle, and just figuring out that, okay, that was the thing I figured out on my walk, and I was like, whoa, I know how to code. So yeah, it was just really great to be able to figure that out because I think I was I was originally going the opposite way of using Storybook to figure out the logic for the coding, whereas it should have been the other way around within the code itself, and then just making sure that it worked by checking it through Storybook. Um, yeah, so I feel like the only things left maybe for this component is like tightening up styling and then having Tim, you had helped me with this before and I forgot how to do it or lost my changes. But having a string inputted for the badge versus right now I have it hard coded. So
Oh,
being able
okay.
to give access like for a developer to type in a string or to plug in whatever they want
Oh,
into the badge.
I think you're doing both right now.
Oh, am I doing
Uh,
both?
yeah, so it is that children prop, which you
Oh
actually
yeah,
have
that
at the
I'm
end
passing in
of
here.
line 49 or 59. You really are using it. I think you just have Storybook not providing it. So
Oh, okay.
if Storybook started providing it, then it would have a message and then say success.
I see. Should I be passing in children here then? As or
Uh,
So,
let's see.
Mhm.
can you hold up on this, Clay? Because I'm
Mm.
gonna go over exactly this in after
Okay.
you stand up.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's my updates. Uh yeah.
Cool. Nice work. Do you want to pass it on to another fellow?
I'll pass it to Aminat.
Hi. You guys can hear me fine? Let me know if it goes in and out because I don't know what it is with Zoom and my microphone. Um, I'll share my screen or I'll go through the stand-up first before sharing my screen. What did I work on this past week? I worked on the component, trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. but something that I did accomplish with the help of Carlo and my one-on-one with Clay, thank you again, was I got access, Clay was able to help me get access to dev mode on Figma, which was very helpful to start seeing some of the stylings on my tabs, which I was able to like start adding, which is exciting to see semi. I worked on the styling and of course some comprehension on the code again. Just reading code again, trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing. Did get some direction from Carla that I was a little bit confused about with the component, which helped with the feedback that I saw that you put in GitHub, very helpful and probably able to help me steer in a better direction because I have it somewhat different from what you suggested, but I'm gonna fix it. And also connecting to Storyboard, which was also exciting and something I was able to do this week. So I can show you what I got. Yeah. Can you all see my screen? Awesome. So this is the component that I have built out, and here it looks on Storyboard. This is what it looks like, but this is not what I want it to look like because on the notes, right? Like, I need to set it up to where like I can actually see the display and the tabs are clickable. So I have to figure that out, right? Making sure that the tabs are clickable and becomes inactive on click. Because right now I just have it set as a Boolean tab false. And that's where I've set up like pretty much working on the styling. I haven't pushed this yet because I got an error and I was just over the error. So I figured I'll push it in a second. If anyone wants to take a look at the component, but this is what I got so far.
So one thing that I would add is like, okay, that it should be like whatever, how many tabs, right? It should be like n number of tabs depending on the depending on how much tabs that the user would want to be displayed, right? And I'm kind of like debating that where should we be doing a fixed number amount of tabs right now? But I would let you handle that harder one first, where we're displaying the n number of tabs, and then let's connect together and if we could try to figure that out together
Okay.
and all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So this week I'm gonna focus on that, trying to see if the number of tabs, because right now, I mean, this is kind of a good start for me just because it took the entire week to get here. But this week I'm gonna focus on that and also focus on adding that horizontal, adding this piece to my active tabs, like this horizontal blue line. I guess that was a question that I had or that I was trying to figure out, and it's probably like a styling question, like the width for the box, right? Like, is it gonna be a div? Like, is each tab gonna be like in a div? Just to figure out because right, because the line can't span across each one. Just trying to figure that out. And I guess it was more, I also had a question about setting up the limits, but that was something we can work on this week. No.
So in terms of the design of it on Figma, you should see a spacing kind of like consistently sized, but it hugs the content, right? So if that's a longer content, it hugs it, but there's like a kind of like spacing around it, like this padding on top, bottom, and left and right, and that's supposed to follow a spacing token. So what do you see from your inspect right now?
Mm. Mm.
I hope it
Mm.
shows. You have to click on the container, right? So yeah,
Sorry. So
yeah,
there.
frame. Yeah, right. On top, there's like a view of that. Yeah, there's a spacing variable, 16, right? But I think 12 is not covered by our variable list right now. I think that's more of a token level conversation, and I don't want to add to your stand-up right now. So we'll talk more about tokens if we have time for that today.
Do you
Okay.
guys think for like for the sake of time, because I know we only have another week, that if you're not able to have enough time to build out the entire tab group, that maybe like just working on the tab and its functionality alone would be like doable?
Yeah.
Carlo, thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like asking, should we do like a fixed number of tabs right now versus, you know, but I guess the more let's handle it in a way where let's take care of the styling and the functionality of being able to
Yeah.
clickable. If you're able to do it with 2 tabs right now, that's great, right?
Okay.
And then we can push, if you're able to do it with 2 tabs with the styling and with the functionality, being able to activate one and uh uh disable inactivating the other, then we can tackle a little bit more, something more harder when it comes to like doing render props on these things. So yeah, let's do that. Take care of the styling, let's take care of the functionality, and then we'll figure it out from there. Actually, change my mind. I want you to be able to do unit tests as well. So let's do 2 tabs, right? 2 tabs, and then move on to unit test. I think we're good for that. We're good with that right now. And then even after the program, me and you could work on like how to improve this, you know? Cool.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like telling Stats this too, because the popover component is very involved and it has like multiple subcomponents that we have to build. So yeah, like don't worry if you don't have time for like the whole entire thing. Find like a good breaking point where you can like go through the whole flow of putting it on Storybook, make sure everything is refined, and like write a test, like find like a good stopping point, and like after the program is over, you always have like the chance to continue fleshing it out. So yeah, for Stats and I think we're focusing on like the menu items and a couple of other like subcomponents right now, and putting the popover on the back burner. So yeah, I guess like Stats, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, so this week I worked on, well, we had to make a new branch because my previous branch just like, I don't know what happened, GitHub things, but made a new branch and like redid some of the code, like moved it over and then tried to fix it so it matched a little more like what it is in Figma, and learning how to do the dev mode really helped with that. And then I implemented On's comments from today into, yeah, the subcomponents. And then I attempted the popover component as well, which I know we're not focusing on right now, but just to have something. So I'm going to share. I'll start. Yeah, so this is what On kind of helped walk me through just to get started. And and the divider didn't really change. The menu item, I just made it so that it doesn't look like a button anymore, and like tried to match the styling a little bit more. And the focus as well, so it's not like blue. And this is the disabled. And I also worked on like implementing the theme tokens, like here in the styling, just to try that out. And then for the popover, this is, I don't know, this like obviously needs to be fixed, but I wasn't sure if like that's a separate component. And then this is what I did for like the popover, which I pushed onto GitHub, but that's about it. And this week I want to work on just, yeah, kind of making the subcomponents look good, and maybe doing some more work on the popover, and no blockers, I think. So yeah.
Awesome. Nice job on the popover. Yeah, I think we can focus on like refinement of what you have. And then like if you have time, like yeah, tackle like writing tests. I think that would be great. Okay, Zulai. Oh, I think you're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen real quick. There we go. So yeah, is it on? Okay, cool. So this week I was able to chat with Tim. He helped me a lot with honestly just the plain logic of getting this component in. With the help of Tim and ChatGPT, from what I understand, I do have the 4 different states represented. So for my tile, it's a simple default focus, hover, and disable state. As you can see, some of this is hard coded in there. So I'm still figuring out how to get some of these properties dynamically rendered. I think one of my thorns was kind of really understanding how props and children work. I mentioned that last week, and for some reason in my brain it's not really computing. As far as stories go, I was having trouble even getting the button to show up as a component in the stories, but I was able to do that yesterday. However, you see my tile is there and I click on basic, nothing is rendering just now. And so that's what I've been triaging today. And I'm not even sure what's going on over here just yet. And then I was having a similar issue to Statz with a lint error. Which I was looking over. I was looking at the clue that I think it was Carla had posted in the Slack. What I think it is, it's probably an improper use of these functions that I imported up here. And so I've been trying to kind of see what their use case is here and if they're even applicable for the moment. And yeah, so that's my task for this week, I think. Figuring that out, getting it to render in the storybook. And
Zulai,
then
sorry.
yes.
So that lint error that you're talking about, are you is it in this file as well, or were you able to resolve that?
Yeah, it's here as well, it's right.
Is it not showing on, is it not doing like a red squiggly line somewhere?
No,
'Cause-
there's no red squigglies.
Interesting.
Yeah. It did say that it had something to do with a ref not being defined, and I did comment them out. So I'm wondering if it's still giving it issues because it's in there.
Okay, I mean, it should, what
Yeah.
you're seeing, what you're seeing in the command line should be matching what's in your editor. If not, then I feel like there might be some configuration errors
Maybe you need a
issue.
save tile, because like I see the little dot next to the file name. It doesn't look like it's saved. So maybe like save and then run it again to see if you still have that.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, because I was trying to push it. Let's see. Yeah. Meh.
PNG format.
Failed without outputs. Yeah.
Okay.
Eh, I guess we could like after stand up, we could like take a look at it and see.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say like time box it to like, like half an hour. And usually like if I can't figure it out within half an hour, I'll like ask for help.
Yeah.
Good
Play
growth.
with it some more.
But yeah, I think if someone is available after stand up to assist you, that works too. Okay, so is there anything else, Zulai?
As far as questions go, no. I think I'm close.
Awesome, awesome. Love seeing the progress. And yeah, so I'll take over from here. If you don't mind, stop screen sharing. Okay, so I wanted to go over a few things, but just like looking through your progress, I think you already have like a lot of that figured out. But let's just run through them anyway, and you can ask questions as we go along. I do want to hand it over to Clay first, just to give us like quick introduction to like object destructuring. I think at this point, a lot of you guys have used it. But yeah, let's like do a quick like demo there, because I went over with Clay this past week on like how we really like use all that within our code base. So Clay, if you don't mind taking it away, and then I will talk about all the other stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do what you did for me. Okay, let me share my screen. Although, will it be confusing if I do it in my terminal in this project?
Well, however you need, you could like do it within like an empty file if you want to
Okay.
like open up
Oops. All right. Yeah,
just
maybe
like a
that'll.
JavaScript file or something like that.
Mhm. Let's do. Just make. And then. Oh, wait. A new window. Nope, doesn't want to. Oh, okay, I'll just. Close this one so it's not confusing. Okay. All right. So we're gonna be in our little playground, and what should I make like two objects and structure them like we did in our example?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so say we have our object, we're gonna name it person1, and I'm just gonna give it some attributes like well, okay, I'll do it how I have it in my notes, so it's as clear as I can also explain it to others. But essentially this is like creating is like nested attributes a way to call them that?
Like nested object, yeah.
nested objects. Okay. And then being able to sort of call on them is what An was showing me. And I feel like I got to understand it a bit better, especially using them in the props or in our components. Okay. So I'm gonna make our first object, and that's gonna be our person 1. So now if we call person 1, we have the entire object, and we have a name with these 2 things called like a first name and a last name. And I believe, was it like we're able to call, oh wait, not quite. I'm forgetting now how we are able to call person 1's first name. I think there's, okay. So originally, like if we think about JavaScript, we could do like person 1 dot first. Wait, or maybe not. Okay, now I'm completely